Hey, my fellow loan officer, DJ Christofferson here, and glad you are watching this little mini interview. If you're watching this, it probably means that you have some interest in becoming a mortgage broker. And I have on here a mortgage broker that she'd like to just share a few minutes. I'm going to ask her some questions here and just share her experience of leaving the retail side of things and becoming a mortgage broker. So with that, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Gwenn. Gwenn, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, DJ?
I'm great. We're both in Wisconsin, so it's and when it's as we're recording this, it's I got some snow on the ground. How about you?
Yeah, it's been snowy, but then we get that warm snap, and then it gets freezy, and so there's a
Yeah,
little bit of snow. But
yeah, and hopefully that polar vortex stays away this year. But anyway,
I know.
let's just jump in this. So you're kind of unique in the sense that you used to be a mortgage broker before you went the retail side, and then you're a mortgage broker again. Can you kind of just explain that real briefly, and then we'll go into the questions I got for you.
Well, I started in the business on the mortgage broker side, and I loved it. And then, of course, we had that little thing called the crash
Yep.
that occurred, and everybody kind of jumped to the retail side, and I jumped over there probably 2008, 9, and then just kept watching the broker side, and saw this opportunity come up, and I still brokered a lot while I was on retail.
Yeah.
And jump back over to the broker side, and I don't think I'm ever going to look back. If it keeps going, I love it.
And that's awesome. So a lot of people that come over from the retail side to the broker side have no prior brokering experience, or if they do on the retail side, it was such an awful experience for them to broker on the retail side. Can you
Mhm.
explain probably why? I know I didn't prep you with this question, but why that might be is why a lot of retail places, you're the anomaly on a retail where they brokered it often, and kind of explain why brokering is not as bad as most people on the retail side think of things.
Well, I mean, just from my experience, because my colleagues on the retail side hated brokering. They just refused to do it, and I think it was just a block. They were told that of all these reasons why they shouldn't broker, and they were afraid to do it. They thought it was harder, tougher, you had no control, and all these different things. And it's really just a matter of getting to know the AEs and the programs. I mean, I brokered while I was in retail because it enabled me to provide my clients with a better situation. That's pretty much what it was. But I think there's just um, it's like it's not your daddy's mortgage anymore. That kind of
Right.
whole sense of things you just don't know. And so somebody's telling you that it's horrible, and you're used to sending your file in one way and just getting used to one situation, one set of guidelines, one set of rules, and one way. Well, there's a lot of other ways when you're able to broker, and I just happen to like that, and it was better for my clients in a lot of situations.
And speaking of being better for your clients, so why not stay at the retail that can broker? Because a lot of retail guys say, well, I can broker if I want to, but why leave that and then come to, like, what benefits did you see of becoming a pure broker?
Well, when I look back at like compare my broker deals when in retail to my broker deals now, and as a broker, I doubled my income
Awesome.
doing the same thing. And what I noticed was the treatment of the wholesalers to the pure broker versus the retailer, because the retailer, while they could broker, we weren't treated as well as we are in a broker only situation, because those investors are really advocates for us, and they do everything that they can to help us. And I mean, it's amazing. I mean, because it's some of the I'm using the same companies with the same investors that I used on the retail side, and I see a night and day difference as far as the response rate, as far as just how we're treated, which is it's very I feel great about it. It's like I feel like I'm special.
Well, you are, Gwenn, you are. And let's talk about some myths a little bit. Now, you being that you've been brokering and you have brokered, you didn't really probably just believe the myths on there, but you said a lot of the people that you worked with on the retail side were falling for those myths. Can you kind of explain one, two, maybe three, whatever you feel like, myths that retail LOs are believing about the broker side that aren't true?
Well, number one is that you have no control. That's the biggest thing. We have so much control. We have great service. We never lose control. We're on that file and notified of everything that's going on. We can actually, call the underwriter up. Whereas actually interesting in retail, when I was in retail and I was brokering, you had to call, like an account executive or somebody else. You really didn't have access, direct access. And that's a huge myth, that we have direct access. I can zoom in and talk to underwriters. They're calling me. They're approving my loans, and they're picking up the phone and they're calling me and they're saying, "Oh, I just want to go over this file. There's a couple conditions here and there." I'm like, "What?" It's so wonderful. So that is like a huge myth that's busted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Closing on time, getting, sitting there at the table waiting for your money, to show up. I mean, I can remember those old days way back, and I'm dating myself now. That people would be sitting there for, half hour waiting for funding. That doesn't happen. Those wires are out, they're, way ahead of time. That's another myth. So I think it goes into like control. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
We have
that's by far
control.
the biggest one.
I think we have more control because when I was in retail, it was basically, you had to follow this path, the exact path. And, you can only order like, so many rushes per, deal or month or whatever. And so I don't know. That's a huge myth that is busted. And
I agree.
Yeah, in processing too, is, it's like you don't have control. Well, you have control. We have the opportunity to have, contract processors or not, but we've got some companies of our investors that they've got, this processing team that supports us. So they order title, they order homeowners, they order VOEs, and they'll even order payoffs. So, what's left to process? If you send a clean file in, it's like,
easy peasy.
I'm sending in files. This is crazy. I'm sending in files on a Sunday, right?
Yep.
Like somebody gets an accepted offer. I have all their docs and I submit it. Monday morning, between like 9 and 10 o'clock, I'm getting a call from that underwriter saying, "Oh, congratulations, you got conditional approval." That's
beautiful.
It's just crazy.
That's absolutely beautiful.
That's a huge myth buster too.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's the control. We got it. Closing turn times very fast, and that's awesome. And so then what would you say is your favorite part of being a mortgage broker?
Having the diversity, and I love puzzles. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's so fun. Like you get, a client that calls and, they typically they'll come in and they'll say that, there's one, there's a 30-year fixed and it's this rate, it's that rate. Then you start educating them and you say, okay, well, there's, what you start talking to them, how long you need to stay in the house. So it's really about, educating the clients and then having all these different options to put them in. I was so excited. I had a gal that I just closed on. She's a PA and she's in a contract position and she went to Wells Fargo. She went to, probably like 4 other banks. And first they said yes. And they said, "Oh, well, no, because you haven't been in that contract for 2 years." Well, yeah. We sat down, rolled our sleeves up, figured out a plan for her and got her in, in her house so she can bring her family here from Georgia. How exciting is that? So yeah. I think that's what I love about it is we've got options. We're not, stuck in a box. We've got all kinds of options that we can do and to help more people.
And you're helping more people, and then financially, let's just be real about it. It allows you to make more money because you're closing deals that you weren't able to do before.
Oh yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Now we both work for NEXA Mortgage, the fastest growing mortgage broker in the country. We'll be licensed in all 50 states by the end of 2020, even much earlier before that. Let's just talk one real bit about them. What do you like about working with NEXA Mortgage?
They're so transparent. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably the biggest thing is, all the way from, from the top, the, CEO and CFO. Everybody's accessible. We zoom in if I need to talk to anybody, if I need to have an accounting question, if I need some support on maybe a deal I'm trying to structure, there's always somebody there. Or I can, zoom in and we've got account reps sitting in Zoom rooms that if I have a question or need something, you can talk to them. And what I love about it is that I'm a lone wolf out here in Appleton, Wisconsin. And what's so exciting is that I talk to all my colleagues and everybody, they're all over the country. And I just, what they put together is wonderful. And another really cool thing is that this whole every day is payday.
Yep.
You know, you're not waiting 3 weeks, depending on when your loan closes, to get paid.
Right.
You actually, you know, I mean, it's probably about maybe a 7-day turnaround time from the time that check hits corporate office till it's in my bank account. And it's ongoing, especially this time of year. I mean, I'm just excited. I've got all kinds of stuff going on, and I got money in the bank that that I would be waiting till January to get.
And they're
it's
larger
really nice.
paychecks too, compared to the retail side, right?
I've doubled my income in the last 2
awesome.
months. Yeah.
Doubled your income the last 2 months switching over the broker side. That's a quote that I probably snipped from this and probably just showed to everybody. So that's good.
Do that. I mean, I'm serious. I'm so excited. It's just so fun. I can't wait to see what 2020 is going to bring, you know?
Oh, I'm excited for you too. I can't tell you how excited I am, especially since we're both Wisconsinites here. So, All right, I got a couple of quick more questions for you. Just real quick, we'll wrap this up for everybody. So what would you tell a loan officer that is even just the slightest, just curious about the broker side?
Well, I would say to jump on every Thursday. Is it Thursday?
Well, we might be doing another call too. So we host them weekly. So we'll say the time.
So I mean, jump on those calls and just, you know, I always think that, you know, the more knowledge you have, the more information you have to make, you know, just a good decision for you. And it's not for everybody, you know, and that's okay. But at least, you know, if you're curious about it and you just, you know, think about it, all it doesn't cost you is just a little bit of time, and you can ask questions, you can do your due diligence, and you can figure it out. And if it's something that you want to do once, I mean, when I made the move, I was so nervous. I'm thinking, oh my word, here we go. Whoa, you know, but there was so much support, and everybody's there to walk you through, to help you. You know, we've got from Facebook groups to Zoom rooms to, you know, people like you, DJ, you know, and a lot of other LOs around the country that are really, really supportive of everybody that wants to jump on. So, I mean, don't be afraid. Just dip your toes in and check it out. And like I said, if, you know, we'd love to have you.
Yep.
And if not, that's okay too. We'll see it like in the field somewhere.
Right. Exactly. And Gwenn is completely right. Even if you don't go broker side, at least know what the broker side's all about. So you know for certainty what you're going up against. And what she's also talked about is weekly. If you have questions that you want to jump on, just let me know. Weekly, we host an info session about what it's like to be a broker and then working with NEXA Mortgage. But all right, last question for you, Gwenn. Anything else you'd like to share? If you don't, that's totally fine.
I think I've talked a lot, don't you think?
That's all right. I think it was very helpful. Well, that's
it. I hope that, you know, this is beneficial for anybody out there, you know.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, Gwenn, thank you so much. And fellow loan officer, if you have any questions about what it's like to be a mortgage broker, or interested about what it's like to work for NEXA, or questions about NEXA, or jump on one of our weekly info sessions, just reaching out to me. Gwenn, you have yourself a great day, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Take care.